Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Experience, where we talk about all things Abu Dhabi real estate. Today I am here with Diana. Diana, welcome.
Thank you. Hi, Ben.
Diana is one of our sales agents. She's also a very experienced leasing agent as well, but she's in our sales team now. And today we're talking about what every buyer should know before buying in Abu Dhabi. Well, let's talk about the process first, Diana. So, how should people prepare if they're thinking about buying? You know, what kind of things that they do to prepare even before they sort of start looking?
So there's literally really just one thing everyone should know to be on a safe side. And it's not a general knowledge, surprisingly. Even I didn't know before I started to be an agent. And that's the thing that sellers and landlords for leasing, they don't pay any fees. So they work with lots of agents. But buyer and tenant would pay the fees. Therefore, they should think twice who they're going to work with. Because basically, any agent can get them any property. So they're basically making a decision from the beginning. Who are they willing to trust? Who are they going to pay the fee? It's not just about paying, right? Like some people would end up paying to the agent, just disappears. And that's not where we want to get. So, and the tricky thing is that Abu Dhabi and UAE is different than the rest of the world. So when people only have experience from other countries, they don't know this. And they would end up just contacting agents who have the property that they might be interested in.
So you think the first thing that people should concentrate on is the agent?
Exactly. Because the most important thing is to find someone who will work for you, not for themselves, who's going to make sure that they understand properly what you want as a buyer, because so many people don't know, like pictures can look nice, but is it really a good fit? So if you choose a good agent, they will ask questions and they will give you more options. They're not just going to push you for whatever you contacted them about. Where, there's so many agents who would just think short term, and when they get a call about a property, they'll push that property.
So what's a red flag? So you're talking to an agent, like, what's a red flag? What's an indicator that maybe they're not a very good agent?
They won't ask anything. They'll just go straight to arranging the viewing, not even asking, basic
questions. So you contacted them about a property and they say like, okay, let's go see that property.
Yeah, immediately.
Okay.
Without checking if it's even, if they have a pre-approval, if this is the community that they want, or like features of the apartment, like often listings don't really justify the property, like especially if it's tenanted, it can't have real pictures, maybe just a part of it, a balcony or whatever, but like put general pictures. But also people don't know the place that well, so they would just hope they're gonna like it. And yeah, it's waste of time for someone who's looking for a property to just like click on every ad and try to speak to the agent who has it listed, where in reality they should just go with someone who got recommended to them, someone who they can trust.
So their first thing to do is ask their friends, ask their colleagues, go online. Is there a place online where you could find someone who you could trust?
Well, my advice
apart from Crompton partners, obviously.
My advice is, if you don't have friends who know, just get on Facebook, get into these expats groups,
Listen to some podcasts.
Check yes, listen to this podcast, share it, make sure that everyone knows about this. But yeah, like it's just literally wasting time contacting every agent, where really you just want someone who will be able to tell you, no, this is not the right thing for you, this is not what you should do. Maybe it's not the right time for you to buy, or this project is not good for you. Maybe we should wait for another one. Even when you go for the launch and, they don't have the property, the unit that makes sense, a good agent will tell you, don't get this. It's going to be difficult, if it doesn't align with whatever your plan is, either resell it or tenant it, or to have it tenanted. The agent should be able to say, hold on, like this is not the right thing for you, like thinking long term, thinking about their long-term reputation than just closing that one deal. And, but
Okay, so let's say you found an agent. Is it then you need to talk to your bank?
yeah, you should talk to your bank, or you can get in touch with mortgage advisor if you have no clue. And yeah, see what are your
What's the
options.
difference?
Mortgage advisor will be able to give you your overall information. Same as agents, right? We know about all the projects or the communities. It's the same for mortgage broker. They know about all the banks, so they're not gonna push just their product. They're gonna give you the overall information, and you will be able to choose the right product, and just they'll be chasing for you. Again, you need to find a good one, but
Because you need to know how much you can borrow, right?
yeah, exactly. So many people
Got to
start
have a
searching.
budget.
Yeah, so many people start searching about without the pre-approval, and then it just, first of all, it can be disappointing when they can't afford what they're hoping for, but also if they find the right unit and they don't even have a pre-approval, it can ruin the deal for them, because once they find the right property, if they're not ready to go for it, there might be someone else who's just ready, and they lose the unit, and then it's just massive disappointment again.
Because it takes a little bit of time to get, find the right bank and get pre-approval, and that can hold up the deal.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay, all right. So let's say you've got an agent and you've got, you've spoken to your bank or mortgage provider, so you know what your budget is basically. So what's your next step? How do you go about searching?
well,
Like, where can expats buy even?
okay, so that's another thing that lots of people don't know, that there are areas in Abu Dhabi that are just for locals. That obviously, if you're with the right agent, you don't have to worry about these things too much, because you will find out. But often they just contact an agent about the community that's only for locals. It's still, luckily, it's still less and less. Like, more places are opening. A good example is Mangrove Village, where that's fantastic deal, because they open it for, part of it is open for expats to buy as well, where normally this location is just for locals. But yeah, there's lots of communities where people are allowed to rent, obviously, as it's owned by locals, but they cannot buy there. So I believe that's one of the reasons why lots of people just keep renting, because they're used to their community and they just want to buy. I'm being optimistic about this. I think the whole overall, it's improving in Abu Dhabi, and they're adding more and more options for expats, especially most of new projects. Even if it's a location where it's normally just for locals, most of the new projects are open for expats as well. So this is great. One of lots of things that are
Getting more
done.
variety now.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So then you've got your agent. So how do you go about your property search? Would you then suggest they go on the property portals? Or
They can do that. I mean, that's actually, it's a good idea to do research on their own, and then sort of double check with the agent to see what their thoughts are, and after explaining what they're after, to hear agent's opinion as well. But yeah, it's amazing when people do the research and know more or less what they have, what they're looking for, and then they can get some alternatives from agent as well, of course, because it's not easy to do the research, right? Like, there's not that much information around, especially all those small things like how is the community, how are people living there, how are they looking after facilities, what else is there. It's not just the project itself, but it's overall what are the options for the schooling for kids, all these things. You don't really have a place where you have all the information together. So we sort of need to get all these small things from other people who live that life. I think a lot of people can't even be online, if people aren't happy about something, you're not going to really see it written anywhere. So you need to hear it from people in a community, or, ideally you want an invested agent who is trying to get all that info and will tell you, okay, this is something that's not that great, and you might just accept it, or it might be a deal breaker for you.
if your agent is being honest with you.
But that's the thing, you need someone who is honest. Not
Yeah.
easy to find, but there are.
So when would you recommend that someone buy off plan, for example? Built's obviously, you know, we understand the community and things like that.
Well, first they need to find out or like have an idea what is their long-term plan. If they just
So let's say if
wanna
they're an end user, would you recommend that they buy off plan if it's appropriate for them?
Depends on their
always built.
depends on their finances. If they're fine with, obviously, these days the payment plans are more and more aggressive. So people need to first know
What do you mean
how
by
much
aggressive?
developers expect more to be paid during the construction. So, you know, the payment plans that we saw before, 30, 70, it doesn't really happen anymore. Now you're lucky if you get 40, 60.
West Yas was once 1090.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, that's the risk that people took at the time when no one knew what's going to happen, right? Now everyone's keen to buy, and obviously developers are taking advantage of it. So yeah, people just need to know like how much of the down payment they have, or like, you know, just this 10-20% for securing the unit, how much they can put aside every month to be able to carry on with the payment plan. Because last thing you want is become a distressed seller when you keep paying, and then you're hoping you're gonna resell it. Like, you know, you need to be sure that you are okay paying until it's handed over. Because yes, you obviously,
It's a lot of cash over the life.
yeah.
Because, and here's a technical question for you. So in terms of like, if you're buying a second, like a built, you know, property and you're getting a mortgage, how much cash do you have to put down?
So as an expat, if the property is worth under 5 million, you need 20%. If it's above 5 million, you need 30% down payment.
Right.
So that's one thing people should, even if they're not thinking about buying yet, they should start putting cash aside. Because
So when you compare that to a payment plan, obviously a payment plan, you know, it's not immediate, it's over, let's say, 3 years. But if it's 60%, it's more than what you would put down on a ready property.
See, some people have great monthly salaries, they just don't have those savings. So it might be easier for them to keep paying than just collecting that down payment. It really depends on everyone's ability. Obviously, off plan's great if they want to have more of capital appreciation and just make more money short term. But yeah, it really depends what are your
Would you say people
abilities.
should flip their off-plan properties if you buy one? Should you be in it just for the capital appreciation?
Well, it really depends. What is their plan? Ideally, I tell people keep it until handover, even rent it and sell when there's nothing else. So if you make the most money. But obviously it depends. Some people are really good with their money. The earlier they sell, the more they can they can use that money for something else. People who are just working with property investment, they might not be able to use that money again because there might not be other project. It might be better for them to hold. But again, like not everyone wants to take mortgage, right, for the once it's handed over. So ideally, they should sell before the handover. But then another thing that people should know, specific thing with off-plan resale, they have to have cash available. They have to carry on with the original payment plan. And whatever
If
was
someone
paid already.
buys it, they carry on.
Yes, if someone buys it not from the developer, because developers normally sell during launch, right? There's not much available, or it's not that attractive, those units that are left. But yeah, I mean, lots of people think, oh, I just want to buy from developer. It's also a great opportunity to buy as a second buyer. You just have to have cash ready. So if it's just before handover, everything that was paid already, you need to pay cash. And then you can get mortgage. So for people who have cash, this is amazing because then they save money compared to just waiting for the handover to happen. That's obviously raising the price.
And what's a premium when you're buying off-plan property? Because you got to have cash for that too, right?
You're asking about specific amount.
No. So what does the word premium mean when people talk about that?
Premium is extra that goes into seller's pocket. So you pay whatever they paid already. You pay your 2% municipality fee, plus the premium is what sellers getting on top of it, and that can really vary. Depends how good is the project, how many units are in the project. So obviously, the more unique, the more premium you can get. So some people made really good money.
Yeah, and if and some projects were sold too cheaply, when they were originally sold. So all the resales, the premiums can be absolutely huge.
And I'm sure in a few years we're gonna speak about this time how cheap everything was.
You think so? You think prices are only going up?
I never get excited about things, and I always give worst case scenario. But why would the prices not keep going up considering what's happening around? How are we not gonna become a second New York where people are forced to...
Second New York, wow.
Oh, like how people live. Here everyone's spoiled with the space they have, with the location they have. Like average people having average salaries can have apartment with full sea view, with so many things around them, like in Abu Dhabi we don't really have a location that's like in desert, everything's still pretty prime, everything's convenient, and we get a lot here. Yes, the prices are going up, but compared to the rest of the world, I don't know which country was it where people, I saw that someone was renting the balcony space. They closed up the balcony and they were renting balcony as a room, and people would pay crazy money for it, and it was like
barely
normal
enough room
person
to lie down.
So I'm being positive about it. Obviously, I really try to work with worst case scenario to avoid disappointment. But even if another COVID comes, do you think it's gonna be handled the same way, or the companies will already know how to make things work?
So what area do you think's got the most potential in Abu Dhabi? Just your own personal opinion.
Every area has its own
Come on,
potential.
just give me one that's got the most potential.
I think it depends what you want. So I tell people, yes, Island's great. It's big on, it's an amusement hub, right? So there's so much happening. But it makes more sense for people who are keen to do Airbnb or short term where they can make lots of money. Obviously, there's people who are looking for just renting long term. Now we speak if you want to rent it out. If you get the right unit, you can do it for sure. But even Reem, everyone was looking down at Reem, and people will want to live in Reem more and more. There are so many good developments coming. With ADGM, everyone will be super keen on staying there, right? So, and the new areas opening as well. Hood okay, we don't really have apartments there for villas. Yes, they might be expensive, based on what people are used to, but what you get there for the price, it's amazing. And the area's already developed. It's amazing. What's already happening there, just gonna improve, and it's close to the city. So I feel like most of the things that are coming up, it either already has so much potential, or it's just gonna come up and it's just gonna get better, because there's so many things. Every month we hear about new exciting
launches.
Thing coming here, right?
New things, yeah. We've got to wait for the Sphere to find out where that's going to be. Just the announced things. Okay, so let's say you found your property. One of the weird things that I think most people don't know in Abu Dhabi is that your real estate agent will do the conveyancing. That's another reason to have a good real estate agent. Most countries use lawyers, very, very sensible. But in Abu Dhabi and UAE generally, your agent will do the conveyancing. Is there anything that people should know about the conveyancing process, which is kind of a bit unusual, or they should go in with their eyes open? So they sign the MOU, which is the contract between the buyer and the seller initially. Probably going to need to give a deposit in terms of a 10% of the property value, in terms of a check, and then they go through the process, right?
Yeah, I think what's surprising for most of the people, how fast things go, how fast things are happening in UAE generally. It's the process itself, obviously, is usually much faster than the other countries. But even just seeing the property and putting an offer and having it closed, it can be, for some people it's way too fast, and they just get scared. But yeah, that's the thing. You either act fast, or you can close it and then just regret for the rest of your life.
Hopefully not the rest of your life.
It happens to some people. Once you find the right one, if you keep thinking and overthinking, the opportunity might not come again. So that's one thing people should, understand, that there's not much space for overthinking. Obviously, it's a massive decision, right? For some people, they buy once in a life. But still, just, do it.
Yeah, so you know, to get yourself in like the best position, let's say like organizationally and mentally, you know, follow all these steps, be prepared, have an agent who you trust, so that then if they do find this property, you're not, you know, you're as comfortable as you can be basically to make that decision, and you're not worrying about, oh, what do my bank say, or do I trust my agent, or you know, what are the next steps. You know, just try and get yourself in as comfortable a position where you can make the best decision you can make.
Yeah, and that comes again to just finding the right agent that will make you feel comfortable, will explain everything, what's going to happen, and will not lie about someone else being interested, you know? And I think that's really hard, honestly.
Yeah.
Looking at the agents, the reputation the agents have in this country is not good. And that's because...
Not great the world over, to be honest.
Okay, but I think here specifically, no?
Yeah, probably worse so than most places. Yeah.
So many different approaches, and yeah, some people will just lie. So just find an agent who doesn't lie.
I mean, easier said than done, but I mean, great advice for everyone, really.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, Diana. That was a great insight into what buyers should know before they begin their buyer's journey. Thank you very much for coming in. Really appreciate your insights.
Thank you for having me. Share this video so everyone.
We've been the Real Estate Experience. Everything you need to know about real estate in Abu Dhabi. See you next time.